Oh yeah, the hard drive. I don't know
Yeah,
why I was thinking. Modems.
Westel.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, they're not.
Scary that I know what you're thinking of, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Now I forget. Can I change audio? I can't change audio on this. If I mess around with audio, then it's not gonna do what we want. All right. I'm just gonna leave it as if I sound good to you, I'll leave it as is. I don't need to muck with it.
Sounds good.
All right. I won't muck with it. All right. Let's do this, chum.
All right. You want to do it?
Sure.
Why not?
Why not? Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast, episode 139. I am your host, Peter Nicolaitis, and joining me, as always, is my co host, Adam Bell.
Adam Bell, that's me. Good to see you, Peter.
Happy New Year! Slightly
Thanks.
belated. It's been 2 weeks.
Slightly delayed, but
Yep.
yeah, it has been.
Thanks to holidays, financials, incident response,
Yeah,
etc. We took a month off. It wasn't a planned month off. We did plan to take like the week
two
of
weeks.
Christmas and the week of New Year's off.
Mm-hmm.
And then the proverbial fit hit the shan in a couple of different ways for well, probably more for me, I guess, but somewhat for you. And so we took a little bit of time off, but
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is a free podcast. So
Yeah.
you're still getting every single episode that you paid for, dear user.
Every episode.
Every episode. So
We
yeah,
we have lots of free advice and we give it out.
it's worth every penny.
Worth every
So
penny.
how you been?
I've
We
been
have
doing
not
well.
we have
It's
not talked for a while.
yeah. The holidays were good to me as
Yep.
far as, nobody got sick. That's a
Yep.
plus in
Yep.
today. Nobody got angry. There were no fights, or not that there normally are.
That's a
But
huge plus right
yeah,
there.
good chemistry with family and good time off, and then I worked at the farm, continuing to build out the upstairs, and that was good and successful there. As far as as much as construction goes, it's like anything else. You have a plan, and then
and,
you engage
and
with the enemy,
I
and
was gonna say, and then you meet reality.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have goals and objectives, and as you hit obstacles, then you make new goals and objectives, and so that was good. But then, New Year's was pleasant. No big issue. We went, hung out with friends for New Year's, and um, pretty low key. Stayed out of
Cool.
trouble.
All right. All right. Same here. Yes,
Hmm.
I did not. I just had another idea I wanted to make sure we cover on today's episode. I just had to jot it down. I did pretty much the same. I mean, I've been, holding in place for quite some time now. I still go out to the grocery store. I still go out for my runs. But that's about it, really.
Hmm.
I've gone out to shop for supplies when I don't have them just delivered to me.
Hmm.
I got to go out at some point and get my car inspected.
Yeah.
And that's really about that. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, I don't know. Not a lot going on, but hey, I'm still hanging in. Yeah.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Well, good. I mean, that's a win in I mean in 2020. I mean, and people think that because the date rolled over that 2021 is going to be
Everything is
everything
awesome.
everything's awesome. So we've still got some work ahead of us,
You
and
think?
yeah, I think.
I mean,
And I mean, I wish we all had the answers. If we had the answers, we would you know know what we could do, what we couldn't do, and how we could get over it. But we don't, so we're figuring it out.
my dad just told me that one of my mom's caretakers can't come to the house this week because her daughter was exposed to someone with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, why is this still a thing? Shelter in place, people. What? but people just, well, we got tired of it. I'm like, okay, great.
Mhm.
You get tired of wearing a respirator too. So anyway,
Yeah.
supposedly sometime in the next month, either as a Massachusetts resident or as an employee of the hospital, then I will theoretically be eligible for the vaccine. So
Mhm.
we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, and we're kind of looking at that as well because I mean we provide service for medical practices as well as others, and we really are essential personnel for going in. When we go in there, we're not going there for fun. I mean, we're not going there for social. We're only going there because our client needs us to come there, and there's no
Yep.
other way to do it other than physical. So we really are
Yep.
essential from that standpoint.
Yep.
And I don't know where we are on the list. I don't have, of course, the CDC is distributing to only specific buildings right now. They're not coming to general practices. I don't know about in Massachusetts, but that's the way it is
Yep.
here in Tennessee.
Yep.
Have you heard that the what is it, it's not the antivirus, what's it called, the
Vaccine?
shot, the vaccine, yes, sorry, the vaccine is frozen, and then they have to defrost it
Yes.
in order to distribute it that day, but they
Yep.
can't refreeze it if
Right.
it doesn't get used.
Yep.
So you can get on the list at the end of the day and get the shot, but I would think the problem with that is you've got to have the second shot because it's but I would assume that if you get the first shot, you're automatically added to the queue of the second shot because that person forfeited the second shot.
You'd like to think so.
Yeah,
but as I understand it, though, it's pretty much up to each individual state how they're handling that sort of thing.
Because the problem is, it's like anything else. If you take antibiotics and you have a Z-Pack and it's for 7 days and you stop taking it after day 3 because you feel better, you make a stronger virus. So you got to go in for part 2 of the vaccine.
Yeah, if you're going to go in for part 1 at all, because we have plenty of folks who are avoiding that. Oh my God. I just, anyway, yeah, let's not go down the QAnon thing. We're going to talk about plenty of that when we talk about your main topic that you brought up. So, just so I know, we headlines intro you had, I thought would probably be, we should probably swap that and do our catching up and stuff like that as our headlines, and the main topic being the fun main topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, how did you do fitness wise over the holidays?
Fitness wise, I'm doing just fine. I had been experimenting with changing up my running. So normally my running routine is 10K every other day. And I had experimented with 5, 10, 15K. So still the same amount over the period of a week, but breaking it up. So a little shorter run and a longer run. It didn't work out so well. Like I didn't have trouble with the distances. That was fine. And I liked doing the longer runs, but sometimes it wouldn't line up right. Because my thought is, since I generally don't work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, so I'd always have 3 days in which to fit in that long run. But some days, the way it was falling, that long run should happen on a Tuesday. And I didn't have time to do an hour and a half run, So it wasn't. So I just come back to, to 10K every other day. But then I've been running with a buddy of mine from the Krav Maga school. He's prepping for a half marathon. And so we would go and do some short runs, but like normally he would do like, oh, I got to do a 5K today. I'm like, all right, well, I will get there. I'll run 5K before you arrive, and then I'll run another 5K once you're there, and then we're fine.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I would run to where the running group was meeting, which is like 2 miles away from my house, run with them for 5K, and then run home again and get my 6 to 7 miles in.
There you go.
But anyway, today I posted a map. We're doing a trail called the Cross Fells Trail, which goes from one end of the Middlesex Fells Reservation to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I have done the trail in its entirety, but not in a single shot. So this will be the first time that I've done it end to end.
Cool.
And it's just under 5 miles. So what I told him is we'll do that now. And then in a month or so, wherever his plan is, we'll do back and forth.
Yeah.
But today what we're doing is we're dropping a car on each end of the trail. And then, we'll run
It's like
from
a
one
canoe
side to
trip.
the other. Exactly like a canoe trip. But next time what I said is we meet in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And then we run to one end to the east, run back to all the way to the west, and then meet back in the middle again.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. It'll be. I think it's going to be fun today. But what
Yeah.
I've noticed though is when you run with a friend, you tend to talk with your friend, and when you talk, your performance goes down a little bit. So my times have been off a little bit, and I hadn't been doing just my plain old 10K, 10K, 10K routine.
Mm-hmm.
And today again will not be an exception. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I did 4 miles with him earlier this week. I did my 6.25 10K a few days ago, 2 days ago. But I really wanted to get out and move yesterday, so I just did 2 miles. Today I'll do 5. Tomorrow I'll probably do a mile or 2 just to round it all out. So I keep my my 18 or 19 miles per week and 30K per week. But no regrets, no major problems. I mean, I will admit I woke up feeling mildly hungover on occasion during the holidays. There's a new lady on the scene, and she can drink me under the table.
She says, "How you doing? Hey, where'd you go, Peter?
Where did I get? Yeah, I'm like, I got this. I'm good, no problem." Yeah. But I did find that I am pretty sure at this point that I am not a whiskey person.
Don't like it, or just
I don't really care for it. I don't care for the taste as much. I don't care for the way I feel after I've had it. Whereas by comparison, last night I had a little bit of rum, and I felt like I had a drink last night, but I didn't feel bad about it. And
so
yeah.
How expensive is the whiskey?
One of them I tried was Maker's Mark. And now I'll take that back. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey Whiskey. I like that. But in small quantities because it's super sweet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've got a bottle of Macallan 15-year-old Scotch, which I'm kind of hesitant to open because if I don't like it, I've got this really, fancy bottle of 15-year-old Scotch, and I'm like, I'm not going to appreciate it.
So I would recommend that you try a Four Roses bourbon.
Four Roses.
Yeah, I've got
reaches over and
empty
pulls it
label.
down.
Well, it's empty.
I was gonna say you keep a bottle of that at your work desk, huh?
Yeah. So it's a single barrel.
Okay.
And each barrel you can't really read it, but each barrel has a handwritten batch on it.
Yep.
So and it comes from Kentucky, obviously, and it's in the Bourbon Trail if you ever do the all those. But the single barrel, and it's kind of it's round on the bottom and square on the top.
See that?
Because it averages about $38. It's about a $38 bottle. Depending on where you buy it, you may get it for 34 or 38. Sure. But if you buy the $32 bottle of Four Roses, it's not the same. It's not as good as that. It's got a nice, rich, smoky taste. I drink it straight.
Yep.
I don't even drink it neat. I drink it straight. It's just for sipping. I like it.
Yep.
But you might give it a try. I don't like whiskey in general, right. But I like bourbon. Technically, they're the same thing.
I was gonna say, is it whiskey? Bourbon's just whiskey from bourbon.
Yeah. Well, all of it comes from beer. First thing you do is make beer, then you distill it into bourbon or whiskey. But yeah, I like Kentucky whiskey / bourbon if it's prepared well, and that one's just really tasty. You could drink it over the rocks. You could drink it with Coke, but I think you ruin it with Coke because you can put. I don't think there's any. The Coke is the majority of the flavor. It just now has a kick.
Right. So,
but I find I can't drink anything less than a $34 or $35 bottle of anything,
Hmm.
and it does not give me a headache because I think the alcohol is more pure.
So on that note, one of the first mixed drinks that I ever remember having, I mean, maybe I'm sure I had a pina colada or a Bloody Mary at some point, but back in 2008, because as you know, I'm a huge drinker.
Mhm.
I had like sat down with a friend to actually, like, let's get a drink. I'm like, okay, what do you want? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know, right? And the bartender made me a Nutty Irishman or Irish Monk, which is
Uh-huh.
Bailey's, Frangelico, Kahlua, and cream.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Tasty.
It is, right? So I do that. I have also substituted Bailey's with Carolyn's and Frangelico with Francesca.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've heard that a lot of these distilleries are just really like there's like one main distillery and then they're shipping out the stuff and other people are slapping their labels on them. So, but I don't know where that happens, where in the process that happens. But between you and me, side for side, I cannot tell the difference between a shot of Bailey's and a shot of Carolyn's. And I
Yeah.
doubt I could tell the difference between Francesca and Frangelico.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
can't eat. I mean, they've got so much sweetener in it,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, but Carolyn's cost literally half as much as Bailey's.
Mm-hmm.
So for there, that's an example for me where you're obviously paying for the name. I'm like, I don't see what I'm getting there. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I don't. So there's like a Pappy Van Winkle's that's
that sounds expensive.
it is expensive. It's really expensive.
Pappy.
Couple $100 for a bottle that
Oh,
size, 750 milliliters. I'm like, you know, it can't taste that much better. It cannot.
several years ago, my girlfriend took me out to dinner for my birthday to like the most expensive sushi place in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like $200. It was not worth it at all. Like it was like, okay, this is good sushi,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's all I said. And after we left, I wanted to go get a burger because I was still hungry. Yeah, I was like, I mean, there's a difference between gas station sushi and all, top
Mm-hmm.
of the line. There's got to be a nice happy medium somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's similar. So,
I don't know if, well, we're kind of rabbit trailing all over the place, but I
it
don't
could be.
know if
We have a
you've
lot to
noticed.
catch up on.
So in at least here in Hendersonville, um, in Kroger and Publix, you
Mhm.
can now get freshly rolled sushi.
Okay.
And in both locations, I mean, there's an Asian, I don't know what you call them, sushi chef,
Yep.
or sushi
Yep.
preparer, or in both locations, and it is pretty good sushi. I mean,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say, hey, this is $100 sushi or anything like that, but I might pay $15 for a tray, a mixed chef
Yep.
choice with it's actually sashimi
Yep.
on it, and I'm like, man, that's really good.
And thanks to the advent of flash frozen fish,
Hmm.
you being in Tennessee can get, good seafood. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I would expect to get, really good catfish, but not
Yeah,
necessarily
I
fresh
that's
tuna.
funny you mention it. I've never had sushi catfish before. That's yeah. Yeah, can I have
Ooh.
that raw? Yeah.
Yeah.
So more on the catching up. Towards the end of last year, you bought the iPhone 12 Pro Max,
Not
correct?
Max, just
Just
Pro.
Pro.
Hmm.
Just Pro.
Hmm.
Are you still happy with it?
I am.
Yep.
It's still really fast.
Yep.
It is, I mean, it is faster than the 11 Pro. Uh, the, one of my favorite new features is the camera zoom.
Yep.
I can just keep zooming. The old one, if you would send me, if you sent me a 4 meg JPEG and I tried to zoom, I could only go so far. It wouldn't matter
Right.
how good the quality was. I could only zoom so far.
Yep.
Now I can. And I don't know if that's an iPhone fix across patch across the board or if it's the 12.
Right. I thought the 12s were by and large the same hardware, but the pros are different. So, but I forget which. I'd have to call up the side by side. But I know like that, they're all coming in multiple different sizes and things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the point where I'm ready for a bigger phone,
Mm-hmm.
but that means I need to get the Pro Max
Yeah.
because the 12 is I've got the 11, which is a 5.9 inch display. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
the 12 is a 6.1 inch display.
Yeah.
So it's a 0.2 inch, a quarter inch, difference. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe it's good to take baby steps, But the reason I'm doing that now is I'm thinking is that I am, I'm refinancing one of my condos and I had to unlock my credit as a result of that. My
Mm-hmm.
credit freezes. So now's the time for me to apply and switch over to one of these loans and do the annual pay as you go kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't even remember now. The last time I looked at it, I didn't do that. I can't remember if it makes sense to do that or if you end up paying more money. Now I don't recall. But there's a plan where you basically get a new phone every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, if I could just write that off and it just becomes a monthly cost. I was like, okay.
Well, it depends. It comes and goes. It used to be pretty fixed. When I bought my iPhone, I did the upgrade. I said I want to upgrade and I want to finance it through Verizon. It was a 0% APR. It just added 30 some odd dollars, $34, $35 to my bill every month.
Mm-hmm.
And there was I think it was like $1 more expensive, probably from a round up standpoint.
Yeah. Right.
But I paid the same price for the phone just over a 2-year period.
Right.
Well, a couple months later, I was like, well, let me look at doing that for my wife's phone. And I got on there. That was gone. The only way you could get it was to pay full price for the whole thing up front. So it may be, well, you know why they did that? They met their quota of, we gave out 1 million free phones and we're not going to get paid on those for the next 2 years.
Yep.
So
well, see, that's why I'm wondering, like, I'm looking, 5G. Okay. I'm sure it sounds great. I'm sure it is great when you're using it, right? I'm not traveling that much these days,
mm-hmm.
So I'm not using 5G data.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just don't really know that I need that at the moment. I mean, at the moment I don't, because I'm not, I'm usually on my own Wi-Fi literally 95 to 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So do I need that? And so that's why I'm actually looking. So right now I've used 84% of my data. So I've used like 5 or 6 gig, or I've used 5 gigs. And that's about what I had been using. Now, when they rolled over to 5G, they doubled everybody's monthly bandwidth cap because they knew they were going to use it more than twice as fast on 5G. So I'm looking at like Ting or Mint Mobile instead to see about switching over to them. It's just that they use different carriers. And since my dad is on my plan, there's a dead spot in the western side of the state that he often travels to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to cripple his phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I also I could be paying maybe like $50 a month, $60 a month, as opposed to $120 a month, cutting my bill in half,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I haven't found any great need for the 5G because you don't really, the 5G is better and you get a little bit of bump in bandwidth, but you're not getting the big bump unless you're in the ultra wide bandwidth, which is it's narrow. I mean, it's got to be close. You got to be close to these antennas, and they're putting those in like Metro downtown Nashville. Those antennas are up downtown. So if you're down there, if you're at a football game, if you're, in these populous places, that's where you get the ultra wide bandwidth. I didn't really understand that. I mean, I understood it in concept, what they were saying, but I didn't realize that the 5G ultra wide was going to be so limited. I get 5G.
Yeah, it's essentially Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it's still not, at least here, it's sketchy from the place, not every place has 5G.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you saw in the news the explosion on Christmas Day in downtown Nashville.
You texted me that, yeah.
So that, so the guy who blew up his RV parked it right outside of the AT&T hub for all the fiber in the area, for multiple providers, because AT&T is the backbone for a lot of other providers, at least here.
Right. Sure.
And he knew what he was doing. It wasn't, he was actually an IT guy, but he knew what he was doing. Well, AT&T went down completely. No wireless, no fiber, no 911. Everything was down from Kentucky to Alabama. There were service interruptions from the AT&T and things that required that backbone. So I had to use 5G. I had to use my phone, as well as everybody else in the area who was on Verizon was now on their phone because they had no internet.
Right.
5G was a benefit to me because I was on a different spectrum from the mass.
From the masses.
From
Sure.
the masses. So at that standpoint, that was good for me for a little bit, but that's just, I mean,
that's not a sustainable strategy.
Yeah. And I don't want, I don't want that to ever happen again. Not that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm like, I looked up my historic usage, and I'm usually using under 7 gigs of data, like 6-7 gigs of data. And so I don't know. I've got to run the numbers, because I could unlock both of my phones now and just jump off of Verizon and switch over.
So funny statistic. I've got the only 5G phone in my household. My I used 4.4 gig in a month.
Yeah.
My iPad used like less than 1 gig.
Right.
My youngest daughter used about 5. My wife used about 8. 6. No, it was about 6. And then my oldest daughter used about 14.5 gig. But it doesn't matter because we're all on unlimited. But it's just interesting.
You still have an unlimited plan.
Yeah.
Can you add me onto that plan?
Yeah. I just need to add a phone.
Add me over. I'll just throw mine over. I'll pay you. Boy. So speaking of that, but not the exact same thing, related to that, because I mentioned Wi-Fi, I bought an Eero as a post Black Friday plan, the Eero wireless mesh, Eero Wi-Fi 6. Loving it. No looking back. It does not have all the features of my previous system, and I'm not missing them at all. So
how do you spell Eero?
E-E-R-O.
E-E-R-O. Oh man, I was close.
It's an Amazon company now.
Oh, okay.
Right. But they do their best to sell you up on their monthly subscription security things and stuff. But I was going to either yank what I had with and replace it either with Ubiquiti or with these guys. And this is just so much simpler. All the configuration is done with an app on your phone, and it's really just working. I have all my IoT devices on the guest network with client isolation, so they're off to the side. And it's just working. It's not the cheapest, right? So but no regrets, right? I have until the end of the month to return it, and I'm like, no, these are staying. I bought the extenders. What you got there? That's a 4-port. What brand is that? Ubiquiti?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a switch and what?
No, it's actually the well, it's my nifty for the day.
Oh, okay. Well, don't let me steal your thunder unless you want.
Well, no. I mean, it doesn't matter where it shows up in the episode actually. So it's the Unify AirCube AC.
Okay.
It will do mesh. I don't do mesh.
Yep.
So I'm taking this up to my dad's house.
Yep.
I'm having him run 2 wires. But what's really cool is it's got PoE in and a PoE out.
Nice.
So I'm going to power one end, and then I'm going to power the other cube through this cube, so it
It's a
will get
wired. It's a wired mesh.
it's a wired mesh.
Powered.
So
Wired
it's a
powered mesh.
yeah, powered mesh, so that it gets, there will be zero latency
Yep.
and zero drop, between the two. Now, you could do a mesh. I mean, and you have circumstances where you can't get a wire, right?
Sort of. So what I have now is I have a cable. I could use another cable. If I had one more Ethernet cable, I'd be better.
Yeah.
But I've got the main Eero hardwired in the basement. I have a repeater on the first floor and another repeater on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working great. But I also have an Ethernet run up to the top floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, my main workstation is hardwired into Ethernet where I've got a switch. My entertainment system, my TV, and those are wired on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up biting the bullet. I bought 3 wireless access points. They reach my car in the parking lot fine. I'm upstairs in the yoga studio. They work fine. The dead spot in the bathroom that would cause my Sonos to drop out is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't get me wrong. I'm still ticked off at Sonos because their wireless continues to have problems, even though I've literally changed every other aspect of my network besides them. I still have issues with them, but it's better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So things are getting better there. So no regrets on Eero. I am glad that I bought that.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I needed to upgrade my parents' infrastructure for a looming upgrade coming next week. I did not buy Eero for them. I went with an El Cheapo TP-Link $30 wireless access and router. So that I got it here, and I was thinking I was going to drive up next week because they're getting it installed. They're getting fiber to the home on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to drive up there, but I'd have to quarantine, get tested down here, drive up, quarantine, get tested when I come back home, and
you just got to plan 2 weeks away.
I'm just going to mail you the stuff, Dad. I'm sorry. If they had a guest room, I would consider it, but not right now. So, but my dad, since he's got doesn't have any sensation in 2 of his fingers and his thumbs, he's all thumbs when it comes to configuring tech. He's not going to be punching in Wi-Fi passwords on an Amazon Echo touchscreen or the remote control,
Yeah.
So I pre-configured all the equipment that I could here, mailed it up to him, and then one of my mom's caretakers is going to assist me with the setup. So I'll walk him through it. But what they've got now is when they get fiber, they're getting a new access point. I have a repeater here, which I'm hoping I don't need because I'm hoping that the 802.11n will be enough to reach where they need to. But I shipped him on Prime Day. I bought and shipped him 2 Fire TV sticks, which in hindsight I should have had brought here and configured with a wireless network, which I didn't do. But then in the last week or so, I bought 2 Echo Show 5s.
Yeah.
So I've tried everything I can to get my dad to learn how to adapt to his conditions, and it's useless. He refuses to try to entertain anything new. So I said, okay, well, we're going to stop trying to make the phone easy for you to use, and you're going to stop using the phone. So instead, you will just say, lady in the tube, call Peter, and it'll just work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan. So with 2 Echo Shows, 1 at each end of the house, they're getting that. We're going to cancel their old phone and DSL.
What? They're going to have no POTS line?
Well, the new fiber provider will port their phone number over.
Oh, okay, good.
They'll have that, and they have 1 adapter to switch to an adapter for the old type of phone.
Mm-hmm.
But then the big trick will be canceling DirecTV.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure my mom will figure it out within a few minutes. She'll figure out how to search into Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube TV, or whatever. My dad will be the big holdout there and just have to, and so he can say lady in the tube, play Major League Soccer. If you can figure that out, then we'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we that's my next tech project for the next week. Will be a remote deployment with unskilled labor on the other end, walking them through the configuration. But Ben, I wanted to get your input on this because since we're, they're cord cutting. Well, they've been on satellite, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I did the math because they were paying about $100 a month for phone and internet and about $100 a month for satellite TV.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan is that I would offer to split the cost of YouTube TV
Mm-hmm.
and maybe one other service. So
Mm-hmm.
I have Disney Plus. My
Mm-hmm.
mom, I'm sure, would love the National Geographic channel. So
Mm-hmm.
they might like that. YouTube TV has a ton of different options there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking maybe Netflix
Mm-hmm.
or, HBO probably isn't going to have a lot that they're going to like.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix probably would, movies from time to time. So I'm trying to decide. But the other thing is that they like to put on music a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that Spotify might be good for them, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'll get an Apple Music subscription for the family. 'Cause right now I have the student version, which is only $5, but I can't share that with anybody else.
What about the Amazon Music?
I've used that before and I didn't care for it, but you know what? That might meet their needs just fine. And
They've got a
free music.
60-day trial right now.
But they still, even after that's the premium one, they still have a freebie ongoing as part of Prime.
Okay, I don't, yeah.
Not as good as the selection. You get, I don't remember what, it doesn't have all the features and it doesn't have all the same music. But that
Yeah.
might, they're not putting on like specific songs. They're playing, like play the oldies station on DirecTV or whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
that might actually do just fine for, maybe they'll be okay with the music. Well, what'll
What?
happen is they'll listen to it, they won't like it, they'll complain, and they won't say anything about it for weeks. And then they'll just tell me that, we're just going to connect the satellite again and stuff. And then I'll,
Or no, it'll just be reconnected and you won't, we reconnected the satellite.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me you weren't using that service?
Well,
Your mother didn't think about it. So I was, so on Amazon Music, I was looking around for, do you like blues? And yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a channel called Americana Soul that
okay.
I really like. It is
Okay.
it's kind of because I wanted some of the new artists with new music, but I didn't necessarily want to go full. I was like, I want to hear some of these new things. So like Black Pumas and kind of that genre.
Yep.
So if you get a chance, Americana Soul is a pretty cool genre to listen to. Because I don't know what it is about me. I get so tired of old music. I get so tired of listening to the radio and hearing the same songs that I've heard my entire life, when I know that every musician creates an album, and out of that album, 2 songs are put on the radio out of 12.
Yeah.
So there are 10 other songs that we've never heard. They may not be the best. They may not be as good a quality as those other 2 songs.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean I don't want to listen to something else. So that's why I can't stand to listen to the radio, because I'm like, I haven't had the radio on in 10 years.
Oh yeah.
And I turn it on and I hear the same thing I was listening to then.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Yep. And the same ads you were listening to then too.
Yeah.
So I did a quick search. It looks like Amazon Prime Music includes 2 million songs.
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon Music Unlimited has 70 million songs.
Oh, that's
a definite subset.
Yeah.
But Amazon Music Unlimited, and I'm sure that would be fine for their purposes. I don't think that would be, because like I said, it's not like they're able to even play a specific artist at this.
Yeah.
So I'm curious though. Amazon Music, if you. I was trying to see how to subscribe just to find out what the cost is, but all right.
Yeah, I accidentally signed up for that. I didn't mean to. I meant to click no it said start your trial, and I meant to hit no, and I hit yes because I was actually on my phone, on my cell phone. I was like, crap, now I'm gonna have to go back and cancel that.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what, I guess I'll listen to it for
Yep.
30 days. And I wrote myself a calendar event to cancel Amazon.
Yep. So as far as, the evilness of companies, I mean, Spotify, not wonderful. But as far as the selection of their music goes, hands down, they're the most comprehensive out of all the services I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
The one reason that I stick with Apple Music is because it allows me to stream music from my watch when I'm out on a run.
Yeah.
Don't have to carry a phone with me. It's the only one that does that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm still on that. Because I'm still working on my bachelor's degree, I still get a student discount on both Spotify and Apple,
Mm-hmm.
and on Amazon Prime, so there's no cost incentive there. It's just, I want to go minimalist. Today, when I'm going out, I'm debating on even not taking my car key with me,
Mm-hmm.
because I can unlock my car and do a remote start with the watch.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was out just a week or 2 weeks ago, and I was out and my watch battery started to plummet precipitously.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I got a note saying, you're at 10% battery. You want to go to power reserve mode? And then it just turned off.
Yeah.
But then it turned back on again, and then it complained, and then it turned off, and then it turned back on again. And this was literally at the halfway point of my 8-mile run that I was doing that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got home and it just hovered at 10% the entire time. So it's just the sensors, there's something wrong with it. But this is that same problem I had with the other watch a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be a software bug or a consistent hardware bug. I don't know, what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that part of me is saying maybe I should carry the key fob with me after all. So I don't know, but I want to be minimalist. I want to carry as little as I can when I'm running. I don't even like having to wear long pants when I go out for a run.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the more I'm carrying wherever it is on my body, the more it slows me down. So anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that doing running, but I'm a I'm a Boy Scout all the way. I'm like, I've got redundancies, and and I can't help it. I've got my watch, I got my phone, I got my key. I took my pants off the other night to wash them when I was down at the farm, and I started pulling all the stuff that I had just in my pants out while working at the farm. I said, I know, but I can't help it.
So you're the pirate and I'm the ninja. The pirate has like a knife, a gun, a bomb, a cannon. The ninja comes in with the sword.
Yeah.
And finds other stuff along the way.
Yeah. I can't rely upon that. I've got to come with a plan.
Well, my backup plan would be that we have to run a few more miles back to my house.
Yeah.
Which again, I would be unlocking with my watch now because I have a smart lock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if we touched on that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But there's also somewhere out there might be another way for me to get into my house.
There might be. Yeah.
There might be. Right. So
yeah.
That's a backup plan.
Yeah. So that's funny that you mentioned that. Elizabeth's parents come to our house on Christmas Eve. So she's like, well, I'll just have them get the Haida key. And I said, no, I don't want them scrounging around
loudly announcing to the neighbors, I found it.
Found it. Yeah. Like, I will put a key where they will find it. Our regular, our key when we go out. I'll like,
or get a keypad.
Yeah.
Just make sure you cover it up when you're punching the numbers.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff has been good. Black Friday deal, I got that Gigaland Android tablet.
Uh-huh.
And again, the intention is that I use it for reading PDFs and Zoom calls, and I just use it for Zoom calls. It's perfect. I use it as a monitor for Zoom calls. So like my camera, I use my phone, my iPhone, so my students get a good view of me. And then I use that, I join in again from the tablet so I get a decent sized view of them.
Mhm.
Works great. Absolutely worth the $59 that I paid for it. No regrets there.
Hands down.
The problem with Microsoft OneDrive and Microsoft services not authenticating, that persists. That's still annoying. I figure I fixed that by setting up a new Google account and uploading all the PDFs that I want to read on the tablet to that Google Drive.
Ah, there you go.
Problem solved.
Hmm.
So easy peasy, that's it. So it's not ideal. It's not an iPad. I mean,
Mhm.
there's plain as day differences. It's not even like an older, slower iPad. It's like a really old, slow iPad. So, the Apple hardware these days, and
Mhm.
I can't wait until I can justify getting myself an M1
Yeah.
laptop,
Yeah. I'm going to get or I'm going to get maybe a new iPad in April. I need to look on Mac Rumors when the next one's coming out, but I think the next one's coming out, but it's not going to support 5G. So, I mean, if this one doesn't support 5G, well, it's going to at least be 18 or 24 months before one does come out that supports 5G.
How often do you use that and not have your phone handy?
It is my backup. It's my redundant device.
Got it.
So it's got to have cellular.
Yep.
But to your point, it's very rare that I would need 5G
Right.
speeds on that tablet that I couldn't use it. Like if I needed 5G and I needed my laptop to get on the internet, I would use my phone
Tether.
to do that. I'd tether it.
Yep.
But I like my iPad to be completely, cellular backups. It is my redundant device. So if I go in my be prepared state, but really I'm still happy with 4G for what I would need to do.
Yep.
I mean, even streaming and entertaining and consuming, 4G is still really good for that.
It works fine. It works
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
So I'm going to go for the faster device, not necessarily the 5G at that point.
Right.
But I need to look and see. Do you know if a new iPad's coming out between now and April? I'll have to look.
All just rumors and speculation.
Yeah.
I go straight to macrumors.com and see whatever they say there.
Because I think they are, and if they are, that's when my current tablet comes up for renewal. I mean, it'll be gone through the 2-year cycle. It'll be paid for. Yeah. So.
Well, like I said, I was telling you and Scott, I'm not going to buy a new laptop until the end of the year. Well, that end of year has come and gone, so I held on to that.
Mm-hmm.
But the plan was like I would maybe get a phone 1 year, a watch the next year, a tablet or a laptop the next, trying to stagger them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's got to be times in years where I'm getting 2 things, right?
Yeah.
It's not I don't want to have all my devices for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because that's going to start to hurt. So we'll see. But this year so far, January, I have not bought a new either. I haven't bought a new anything. Well, the tablet, the Gigaland tablet doesn't count. I'm talking about a real device. My watch is a few years old now. My phone is a year old. My laptop, I'm talking to you, is an old 2017, so that's 3 years old. So yeah, anyway, on the topic of the laptop, recall that I had a hard drive die in my main desktop.
Mm-hmm.
I shipped it back because I looked it up under warranty, and it's a Western Digital Blue SSD Blue drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up their warranty, and it said that it was under warranty for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted them to do an advance swap, where you give them a credit card number and they ship you a drive in advance, they charge a $25 convenience fee. As Jim Gaffigan would say, convenient way of ripping me off. I refused, and I did the standard since I have a backup computer. I shipped it to them. They had the drive and sat on it for a week before they acknowledged that it was received.
Nice.
And they said, well, it can take 5 to 7 days. And then I was like, okay. They had the drive for 20 days, 21 days before they actually shipped it back. They said that they shipped it back on the 7th. They didn't actually ship it until the 12th.
Nice.
So Western Digital warranty support, in a nutshell, lies. There's no way around it. They just flat out lie. And that angers me, especially because like I could have bought a new drive for like $50.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to give them extra money. Like, this is the reason I bought this drive in the first place, was the warranty. Well, the warranty support was horrible.
Yeah.
So let's move on, because I am running out of time and I have dominated this call. So you wanted to talk about something about of a constitutional nature.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I don't know that it was a whole episode. It was just, it was a topic. So what I wanted to know is, so what happened? Was it 2 weeks ago now? Is it 2 weeks or 1 week ago? Last week, where all those people went into Capitol Hill, broke into the building, and what astounded me was why there were not people being arrested right and left while that was happening. And
because they were white. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
I think I said that out loud.
Yeah. And so I looked at it. I was like, well, is it illegal? I wanted to find out. Is it, it seems to me like that would be illegal. I just didn't know what the consequence of that would be. And I looked it up, and yes, it is illegal.
Yes.
Because they recently had with other defacing of government property during the big civil rights, while things were heated there early in the spring. There were lots of things happening, and so it had been updated. It is the policy of the United States to prosecute to the fullest extent permitted under the federal law and as appropriate, blah blah blah. So yes, the penalty up to 10 years imprisonment for the willful injury of federal property. The other thing that was astounding about these people was they were recording themselves, and the world was recording them.
Yes.
How are they not in jail? Now, I have seen the FBI is now rounding those people up, and they are being prosecuted. And I am glad to see that, because, I don't take government, I don't take our federal government as religion, meaning this is holy ground.
Right.
The only things that are holy for me is God, not our government. Now, there's things that you're respectful towards. I would come into your house and treat your house with respect because you own your house and I'm a guest in your house. Our people that are, this is our country's legacy that we have built. You treat these things with respect. Just out of our forefather. This was your grandfather. What would your grandfather do? Your grandfather helped build this because he helped build this country, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But because we disagree on politics, I don't have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's embarrassing. We're acting like a third world, undereducated country.
Yep.
And then what's embarrassing, it is embarrassing because of these are American people treating American properties like this.
Yes, and how we got to this point is just ridiculous. Anyway, I think you and I pretty much agree. I don't think we need to belabor the point here, but anyway, what they were doing was illegal. It's not, this was an insurrection. Like, okay, there comes a time when, yes, we might have to have a revolution. But I don't think that when your party loses an election, that is grounds for a revolution.
No, because there are, if you don't like the party that's in place, there are ways to the next election to get them out of there.
Right. And making up lies and saying that the election was stolen is not a good way to go about doing that.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing bordered on coup, which is,
Insurrection.
which could, could turn out really bad. I mean, if you don't realize what you're doing and you incite a coup, that means you are now a enemy of the state. You could just be killed.
Yep.
There would be no trial. The military would be dispatched and you would be killed.
Yep.
And I don't feel sorry for you.
Nope.
You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and when you factor in the things, like people taking selfies, sitting in the desk of the Speaker of the House in their office with the feet up on the desk and stuff like that. That's not revolution. That's not, that's ego. That's you just being a jackass.
Yeah, a child.
Anyway.
Yeah. Let's all be grown-ups, and our forefathers, when they built this and designed this is not what they had in mind for how we conduct our country.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure this is not how they thought things would be going forward. And these are people who went through a revolution to get where we are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On that happy note, should we wrap this up?
We should wrap this up. Oh, one thing I didn't, kind of as a side, it did open my eyes, though, this whole thing of how the media will take pictures of what's sensational that's happening.
Yep.
And then if you were to pan away, you'd see like normal stuff happening.
Right.
The whole world isn't happening just like that. It's not like these 100 people and then the other 9 million in the area were also doing this. No, this was a bunch of dopes.
A lot of this problem would go away if people just turned off the news for a few weeks and get off social media. And to their credit, it's about blankety blank time that these idiots in Silicon Valley actually enforce their bleeping terms of service and kick these blank holes off their platforms.
Yeah.
On that note, we need to wrap this up. I can't talk anymore.
Yeah, your face is getting red. Yeah. That's what we'll call this: enforcing terms of service.
Yes. Enforce your bloody terms. Right, that's all I got. I'm going to drop the mic on that note.
All right. Well, on that, if you would like to, wait a minute, where is it? There we go. We want your feedback. If you'd like to discuss a particular topic, like today's topic or some other topic that you'd like to hear from us, you can drop us a line at www.blurringthelinespodcast.com. You can also find out more about me or Peter you can find more about Peter at paradigmcc.com or yogawithpeter.com, and on Twitter at Nicolaitis. And then me at sublimecomp.com or on Twitter at sublimecomp.com. So we look forward.
No com on Twitter.
Drop the com. Sublimecomp at sublimecomp. Yeah, Elizabeth makes fun of me for saying pound instead of hash. You sound old. It's still correct.
It's still correct. Yeah, that ain't wrong.
It ain't wrong. So anyway, so we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening. And I think it's time for Peter to
push the big red button.